Hello there guys, what is going on? Son of Chelsea back here again for another edition of Let's Talk Chelsea. Hope you're all doing well and keeping safe on this Thursday. Today going to be talking about some Chelsea news, but before we get into any of that, I want to ask you guys, if you haven't already, hit that subscribe button and a notification bell so you never miss an upload. Also hit that like button if you're enjoying the content because it helps out the videos as well. But let's get into it firstly with Pierre-Emerick Aubameyang once again being linked to Chelsea by a guy who was linking him to Chelsea a few weeks back when I spoke about him on the channel, and that was Dean Jones of Bleacher Report. Now, he was answering questions mostly about a variety of transfer targets for a number of clubs, and in this article he talked about Aubameyang to Chelsea. As you can see here, Chelsea manager Lampard has a decision to make as the club weigh up how to shape their attack next season. He wants a new striker to challenge Tammy Abraham, but has not yet given the green light for a bid for Lyon's Moussa Dembele, who they also look to sign in January. Now, I spoke about Aubameyang a few weeks back when Matt Law linked him to Chelsea, as Chelsea being interested in monitoring Aubameyang, which really doesn't mean a lot. And I have to say, when I look at this, Dembele, Aubameyang, the high fees, and just as more info has spread out about the transfer window and how this current pandemic is going to impact it, I just feel like the likes of Dembele, the likes of Aubameyang, high deals like bigger fees are not going to be as prevalent. Now, I had my discussion with Simon Phillips, a really good discussion about Chelsea transfers and how the situation is going to impact transfers and how Chelsea are going to do business in the summer whenever it does take place, which I definitely suggest you go and watch if you haven't seen it, because we talk about a variety of targets. We didn't talk about Aubameyang, but sort of what we were getting at was those cheaper deals that Chelsea are going to have to prioritise, and Aubameyang is not one of those. You know, if we compare him to, say, a Dries Mertens, I just don't think it's as realistic, to be honest. Number one, are Arsenal going to sell to a rival? The high wages, the demand for first-team football, I just don't think it's as realistic. He's got 17 goals in the Premier League, which is more than Tammy Abraham, yes. But this is a player who I think would expect first-team football, expect to come into Chelsea's team. Now, I talked about some of the positives and the excitement of him coming to Chelsea, not only the bragging rights over Arsenal, but also helping Tammy grow and learn. But I just feel that I'd say Mertens, for me, I think is just more realistic if we're talking about strikers and Chelsea prioritising deals. And I just feel like Aubameyang is probably out of reach this summer. In a normal case, maybe Aubameyang would be realistic, but I just don't personally see it happening. And it's interesting as well that Dean Jones brings up Moussa Dembele's name, who we haven't heard a lot recently talking about Chelsea. But please let me know your opinions on Aubameyang, on Moussa Dembele. Do you think this deal, like me, is unrealistic? Let me know in the comments below. Next, just a quick thing on Willian. Now, he was being linked to a move to Tottenham, and earlier in the week, tabloids were reporting that he'd already agreed to move to Tottenham in the summer at the end of his Chelsea contract. And João Castelo Branco has halted those talks. The ESPN journalist in Brazil saying that Willian has completely denied rumours that Mourinho has been in touch recently regarding playing for Tottenham. Absolutely no deal even close there. You can see the tweet on the screen. And yeah, that just sort of, rubbishes that move instantly and rubbishes that move is close to happening. And lastly, I want to talk about Jeremie Boga. I've spoken about Boga before as a potential option as a new winger in the summer, and Nazar Kinsella has been reporting about the Sassuolo winger. Roma have become the latest club to register serious interest in Boga, who Chelsea hold a 15 million buyback option in. Chelsea have yet to signal their intent to try and sign their former player, but Serie A club Roma have already begun sounding out the 23-year-old's representatives. I've spoken before about how I feel this would be a really smart move for Chelsea, and just like I was talking about with Aubameyang and Chelsea signing a striker, if high fees for players this summer aren't going to be that prevalent and you need to be wiser in the market, which Chelsea are going to need to be, I feel like Boga is a bit of a no-brainer if Chelsea really want to invest in their wide players, which I think they're going to need to if Willian and Pedro both leave, which we expect them to. And you're looking at a player who's still young, who's still coming into the prime of their career, who's scoring goals. Chelsea fans have been really excited about Boga this season, reposting some of his brilliant goals. And I could see him being a realistic target for Chelsea, just being smart in the window. As I say, I think that all of these talks of these big money moves, I think when you listen to people who know a lot about transfers saying that they aren't going to be as realistic and aren't as prevalent, I think you have to limit your expectation. And as I say, if Chelsea can only sign 1 to 2, maybe 3 players this summer in addition to Hakim Ziyech, then Boga for me is going to be one of those realistic options. A 15 million buyback clause. Yes, there are that stumbling block of assurances over first team football, but But I think because of the amount of games Chelsea play, I think Boga could see himself in the first team, especially in the age bracket of our wingers. If you think about it, Hakim Ziyech is going to be the oldest in 27, but if both Willian and Pedro leave, you're looking at Callum Hudson-ODOI is just turning 19, and you look at, of course, Christian Pulisic, who's still very early into his 20s. So I think that Boga could see himself as even a starter. Lampard likes to play players based off merit, so I think there's always that chance that Boga could come back and make himself a first team player. Chelsea are going to need to invest and replace Willian and Pedro, and if, of course, Jadon Sancho is out of reach, then Boga, of course, maybe isn't, of course, at the same level yet, but could become that player and could become a smarter signing in terms of investment in the long term. Let me know your opinions on Boga. Do you think he is a really good option for Chelsea? Do you think this is a player Chelsea will try and activate? Or do you think they're going to leave Boga a bit like Nathan Ake on that buyback clause, and a team like Roma will get him and Chelsea will look elsewhere for a new winger? But that is it for this edition of Let's Talk Chelsea. Thank you guys so much for taking the time to watch it. If you did enjoy it, hit that subscribe button and the notification bell so you never miss an upload. Follow me on Twitter @SonOfChelsea, and I'll see you again.